Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the Shots Fired podcast. As usual and as always, you got your boy Big Joe.
Got your boy Two Trill.
You got your boy Julio the Don.
You got your boy J-Had.
We got a good show in store this week. We got a crazy injury in the UFC. We'll talk the main card from this past weekend. We'll talk a movie that just came out. Was it worth the hype? Was it worth the wait? Was it any good? And we'll end off with the bro code that, these day and age, you don't really know if that's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. So we'll get into it. But before we get started, as usual, we got that WTF moment of the week. What the? So the WTF moment this week goes to none other than Chris Weidman and what was left of his tibia, because that was one of the most gruesome leg kicks that I've ever seen, and his leg looked like it was hanging on by a thread when he kicked Uriah Hall. He leg kicked him. I don't know if Uriah Hall checked that kick or he just misplaced that kick.
You can see it in the video. We're not going to show the video. We learned our lesson.
Yeah,
last week. You can see it in the video where he braced. He kind of like hunkered down on his leg. You can see his quad like tense up and all that, and then that foot leg just wrapped around his knee, and it was game over. Broken leg.
I mean, that was the first strike thrown in the entire fight. 17 seconds in, Chris threw that leg kick with bad intentions. I mean, he threw everything he had into that leg kick, and Uriah Hall's leg is doing this number. Weidman comes in to kick him, and the foot wraps and snaps, and just that leg snaps.
Yep.
And the worst part of that was, eventually he's got to put his foot back down. So he puts his foot back down to plant, to brace himself. Because in slow motion, when he kicks and the foot breaks, there's no expression on his face. But when he puts his foot down, his foot's to the side, but his ankle's like this, it's folded like a piece of paper. He lands on his bone because his foot's basically detached from the rest of his leg, and that's when he's like yelling in pain. It was pretty bad. I thought the UFC, they did show the replay a couple times, but they made sure not to videotape Chris on the ground. They made sure that when they were putting him on the stretcher and carrying him out, the guy, one of the security guys, took his jacket off and threw it over his leg. They had him in a boot pretty quick. So I think, Gerald, you told me like that night he was already in surgery, right?
He was scheduled for surgery. He had surgery, I believe, the next day, and it's the same basically it's the same injury that I had when I broke my leg, and they put a titanium rod in his tibia. So he said he can't walk for the next 8 weeks. It's another six months to a year before he can actually start training again, which that was about right. I broke mine in 2019, I really didn't start walking without a crutch until it's probably like December, January 2020.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, it was a long recovery, and it's not fun at all. I'll say that. And I broke both my tibia and fibula. I broke both of them. So it was the same break. And like I remember when the EMTs were like, "Hey, can you stand on it?" I'm like, "No, I can't stand on it." What are you talking
What
about?
dumbass question was that?
Can you stand up? No, I can't. Oh, can you try? And I tried, and I was like, you can see my leg go like that. And I was like, nah, nope.
You should have said, "Yeah, I'm ready to run a relay. I could do that right now."
It was bad, man. That like my heart goes out to him because I know the pain that goes with that. I know what it feels like to have a rod in your leg afterwards, and it swells all the time. They have to go through your knee to put it in. Your knee's never the same. Like it's gonna be a tough road.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough road.
I broke my fibula in high school. That's why I know it's the fibula.
Yeah.
Because it was the one in the back. I snapped it in half. And
And still walked on it for like 3 days straight.
yeah, I was walking on it. I was icing it. They were like, "We're just gonna tape it up, and you'll be good for the game on Friday." I was like, "Oh, okay." And
Was you on them roids?
no, man, I wish I was doing the ice. I was doing the, whatever
Not
I
the
could.
drug, right?
Nah. And then I'm too fat to be on ice. And then when my mom after 3 days was like, that's enough. Like, we need to go see your doctor.
Didn't it start turning blue at one point? You were like, "I think something's wrong."
Yeah, it was bad. Like, it was bad. And I went to the family doctor and I showed him my foot. He didn't even touch it. As soon as he saw it, he's like, "That's broken." I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, it's just real bad sprain." He was like, "It's broken." He said, "We'll go get you some x-rays." Came back. That bone was snapped in half. So I was like, "Yeah. You guys told me it was a severely sprained ankle." And he was like, "No, it's broken in half, buddy." So one leg is a little bit bigger than the other around.
Yeah.
When the weather changes, it hurts. That could just be old age as well, but there's a lot that comes with it. I think for what he does, I don't know if he'll be able to fight anymore. I'll ask you guys, you suffer an injury like that, are you fighting again?
No, I wouldn't.
It depends. It depends on my heart. If my heart is still in it, and I feel like I can do it, then yeah, I'll fight again.
I mean, didn't Anderson Silva fight after breaking his?
But he was never the same after that.
I mean, that's true. But like Gerald said, it just depends on your heart. If you don't care about your record and you just do it because you love the sport, then obviously you don't go out there and fight. But if you care about wins and losses, probably not. You probably don't want to fight again. I mean, but Anderson Silva was old though, bro.
Yeah.
So we gotta, that played a factor in that too.
Yep.
And like, I think Chris is a warrior, and I think he wants to go out on his own terms. He doesn't want to go out like that. I wouldn't want to go out like that. Like,
right.
I wouldn't want that to be my last fight. I would want to try and come back, even if it took a year and a half. I'd still try it, just to say, okay, if I'm not the same, then screw it. I'm not gonna come out here and be less than what I was. So,
boy, I'd be swinging that titanium rod like a freaking baseball bat.
Yeah, you gotta
tell him, "I dare you to put your leg in the way this time. I dare you. I dare you." I got you this time. But no, I agree with the guys too. I mean, to a certain extent, when you think about it, you hate to see an injury like that. You don't want something like that to happen to you in your career. But when it does happen, the athlete side of you is going to be like, yeah, I could still go. I could still play coach, basically.
Right.
But you also have to listen to your body. And if you suffer an injury like that, how much more can you push yourself before you hurt yourself again?
Yeah.
And that's something that you definitely have to take into consideration when you're trying to weed yourself back into the sport.
Right.
Yeah, you can't let the injury defeat you. You got to defeat the injury.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Bro, I
Look at
mean,
Dak.
if I was gonna say, if you look at somebody like Dak, Dak is young though.
Or
Dak's in
Alex
his
Smith.
20s. Chris is in his 30s at this point. The body heals different between, Dak's age and Chris's age. It's a different ball game, even though it's not too many years apart.
Well, I don't know how old Alex Smith is, but didn't he have like almost a life altering injury with his leg, and he ended up
He
coming
almost
back?
died.
Yeah.
He almost died.
Yeah.
And they almost cut his leg off. He had 17 surgeries. Infection. That's what almost killed him.
Gangrene.
And he just retired. So, yeah, man, I think, if you're a warrior, that does kind of get in the way of, well, I can't go out like that. But once your body's starting to shut it down like that, man, and things start not healing like they used to, you can't take that same, you can't throw leg kicks like that anymore because your body's just not what it was.
I was watching a doctor explain what happened. He was just like, it was a perfect storm. Like where he hit Uriah at, like there was no meat, there was no muscle to like protect it. It was just bone on bone.
Straight knee.
And
Yep.
It just happened.
Yep. And if he hit him that hard, imagine how bad that leg kick had to hurt Uriah anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that had to be a malicious kick. So